Hello, today we're going to deal with perennials. I'm going to show you how to propagate them and keep them in healthy condition in the garden. And thank you to our supporters, Mr. Fothergill Seeds and Cobra Garden. Well, perennials are great in the garden because you get colour and interest all the way through the year. Of course, you have to plant different types to get flower from spring right the way through till autumn. At the moment, we've still got things like rudbeckias and the anemones in flower. But this little clump I'm going to deal with down here is a geum. And geum flowers early in the season. It finished flowering in June time. This is one called Bell Bank, which is one of my favourites. It's got a lovely sort of dusky pink semi-double. It was originally discovered by the late Geoffrey Smith. I'm sure a lot of you remember Geoffrey for his television appearances and radio and writing.
Welcome to the BBC's gardening videogram, some practical ideas and hints on growing fresh vegetables.
It was cut down after it flowered. It was looking a bit stressed in the dry weather, so it's just starting to grow. But as you can see, it's quite bare there in the centre, and we're getting all the growth around the edge. And that's what happens with perennials. After a few years, the centre dies out and we get this growth here. So it's time now to lift it and divide it. And you can do this with lots of perennials. The time to do it, I always think, is sort of mid-September to mid-October, so it gives them time to establish again before the winter, or otherwise wait till the spring. But what I'm going to do is just dig up this existing clump. I want to plant some of it back in here, so I'm just going to knock that out and just put that onto that bit of paving and just dig this piece up like that. So you can see it's sort of grown right out. So, and where it's touched the ground, its roots, and so just pop that there and that piece out, so we can get all the bits out like that. And then what I'm going to do is just to really fork this ground over nice and deeply, just to get it ready for planting. Take any bits of old root out and then fork it over like that. These are probably bits of roots that are coming off this box here, to be fair. So, but it's not going to do it any harm. And then a little bit of fertiliser just to put the soil back in good condition. This is a bit of blood, fish and bone in there, and work that in. So we've got the soil ready. So what do we do next? Well, we can see here how it's grown, and what I want are some of these end pieces. So it's just a case of really pulling it apart. We want to get rid of all this old here, so you can cut those off, or they'll often just snap off. And we want some of these nice pieces on the end. So it's just a case of being quite ruthless. That's a nice clump there, you see, that we've already got. And then we can get another one here. We don't want the old woody centre. We're going to throw all of that away. And we can just get another piece here. So what I've got is 2 or 3 pieces here. You'll take your time, of course, when you do this. But if I take too long, Sean will tell me off. So then it's a case of get your trowel, and I'm just going to plant a nice clump. In fact, I'm going to plant 3 in a clump there into this improved soil. 1 there. We've got a nice clump just here, like that. And then just plant the 3rd one in. So we've got a nice little clump there already. I'm just going to make sure they're all firmed in, plenty of soil around them. So they'll now grow into a nice clump. They'll establish before the winter, get the roots out, come next spring they'll flower. So mustn't forget the label there. And then I just need to have a very quick sweep up, otherwise I'm going to be in trouble with Mrs. Fish. And then what we can do with the other bits, some of them are admittedly no good and they will finish up on the compost heap, but some of these we can use. So I'll show you now what we do with these. So here's all the offcuts left off from the geum there, And they will, in theory, grow. They're basically like a cutting. They've already got a little bit of root just starting on them. So what I'm going to do is just pick through them. I won't do them all now, but use a pair of secateurs, and we only need sort of a couple of inches of growth there. And if we've got any that have got bits of roots already on them, which some of these have, they don't look very big, but we can see they've already got roots on where they were touching the ground. So I'm just going to take off the older leaves, and I know it doesn't look much, but that will make a new plant for us for next year. So you can then plant them around the garden, or if you've got a little plant fair for your garden club or anything like that where you live, a little community group, it's just nice to share them around. So literally all you need are some little bits like that, and then we're going to put them in some compost. Now you could put them in trays, you could fill a tray like that and push one into each one, or if you've got some little plant pots like these here, just a bit of compost in them, and it is literally just use your finger as a dibber and just push 1, 2, 3 in, however many you want. That will make a plant. If you put 3 in there, it's going to make a plant even faster. And then just keep that watered, keep it somewhere sheltered outside, or a little cold frame if you've got it, and that's it, your own geums for free. So great way to spread your plants around the garden. So what I'm going to do is just pop those out of the way for now, because the other thing we did a couple of weeks ago, we sowed some seeds of perennials. We did delphiniums, we did lupins, we did agastache, and we did Echinacea, and they've all germinated really well. And the idea is now we need to prick these out and grow them on, so that we've got some plants for next year to put out in the garden, and then we can enjoy the beautiful flowers. So I am going to put these into cell trays, because they're not going to grow a tremendous amount now before winter time. I just want them to make a good root system. So using one of the cell trays and a good open compost, just fill that to the top. We don't firm it too much with these composts, we just want to overfill it, rub it off like that with your hand and just give it a bit of a tap. So that's all we need to do, and then we can do the seedlings. Now these are in various sizes. We can see here these lupins are quite large seedlings, and we've already got the true leaves coming. So this is when you need your dibber, and it is just a case then of using the dibber to loosen the roots. Always hold them by the seed leaf, and we can see we've got this really healthy root going down there. Now that is quite big, so I might actually put that into a small pot. So I'm just going to pop that back into there just for now, but I just wanted to show you. But what I'm going to do is to prick out these delphiniums. Love delphiniums, big tall blue spires, lovely strong seedlings, a perfect stage for pricking them out. So again, loosen the roots and then handling them by the leaf rather than the stem, and again a lovely root system. We're just going to make a hole with the dibber, lower that root down, and then put the compost on and just lightly firm it so that it's going back at the depth that it was in this little pot of compost. So just hold it in place, just put the compost around, light firm. It's really easy. I find pricking out really therapeutic. I remember doing this when we had our nursery and when I was an apprentice, and it's just amazing to watch them grow. So this holds 12, so I'm going to prick out all 12 and probably a few more. What you need to do then, remember, is to put a label in them so you remember what they are. Water them in. Now these are hardy, but they need a little bit of protection. So if you've got a cold greenhouse or a cold frame, that's all they need. And what we want to do is to get a couple of months of growth on them before the winter, and then over winter we can keep them just moist, but come next spring they will burst into growth. We can put them into a bigger pot, and by May put them in the garden, and then we can enjoy them through the rest of the summer. So perennials are something that you really need to be growing in your garden. Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and thank you for all the likes and the shares that you give. We'll be back again soon when we're going to be doing some end of season pruning and trimming. So we'll see you then. Bye.